I used to think I was just unlucky. Some kids grow up hearing, "We're so proud of you," or, "You're gonna change the world." I got, "Why can't you be more like your sister?" From the moment Emily was born, it was like my parents pressed delete on me emotionally. She cried? The world stopped. I cried? Be a man. She scraped her knee? Emergency room. I sprained my wrist falling off my bike? It's probably not broken if you can walk. And I know, some families are like that. There's always a favorite. But it wasn't just favoritism. It was erasure. At school, I kept my head down. I was the quiet kid who liked wires, tools, and computers, stuff that wasn't impressive, unless you had a certificate to show for it. Emily, on the other hand, was the star. Gymnastics, theater, honor society, prom queen. My parents practically bought ad space for her accomplishments. By the time I was 15, I stopped telling them about mine. When I got my first A+ in a programming class, I told my mom over dinner. She barely looked up from her phone before muttering, "That's good, Han, Emily's auditioning for nationals." That same night, I took my certificate, folded it, and shoved it in a drawer. I started working young, summer jobs, freelance gigs, odd IT repair calls from neighbors. My first real check came from setting up a network in someone's garage. I was 17. I remember holding that $300 and thinking, this is more appreciation than I've ever gotten at home. So I worked. And worked. I fixed old laptops for classmates in exchange for lunch. I sold second-hand gaming parts on eBay to cover my books. I never asked my parents for help, not once, because the one time I did, when my laptop died sophomore year, my dad said, "We just paid for Emily's MacBook. You'll figure it out." "You always do." That line stuck with me. You always do. Like it was a compliment. Like surviving without support was something I should be proud of. Like the bare minimum they offered was a gift. By the time I graduated college, I was running on fumes, but I had something I never had before: control. I got an entry-level dev job that paid barely enough, but I took night clients. I freelanced like my life depended on it. I took all the clients no one wanted. Deadlines? Crazy. Pay? Late. Scope? A mess. But slowly, it started to stack. And when I finally saved enough, I made a choice. I opened my own tech consulting firm. Nothing huge, just a 3-room space in a co-working building with a busted espresso machine and paint that still smelled fresh. But it had one thing I never had before. My name is on the door. Nathan Wilson, founder. I posted a photo. Just a clean shot of the frosted glass, my name, the desk I'd built myself from a Craigslist pickup, and a caption that simply said, 6 years in the making. My hands were shaking when I hit post. I wasn't chasing likes. I just wanted them to see me. An hour passed. Then 2. My phone buzzed. A single comment from my mother. Nice. That's it. No call. No heart emoji. No congrats, or we're proud of you. Just nice. Like I posted a picture of toast. Meanwhile, I just shared the biggest win of my life. And as I sat in that office, in a chair I'd bought secondhand, in a room I fought like hell to earn, I stared at that comment and thought, wow. Still second place. Even now. A few days after my mother dropped her Oscar-winning performance in Emotional Detachment. Nice. I saw something on her Facebook that genuinely made me blink twice. It was a photo of a dinner table. Candles, balloons, champagne flutes. A congratulations banner above the window, gold letters shining. And at the center, posing like it was her birthday, was Emily. Caption: So proud of our girl hitting 500 followers. Party popper # influencer in the family. I had to sit down. You threw a full-on celebration for 500 Instagram followers? I'm sorry, is this 2012? Did she cure something through a TikTok dance I missed? The comments under that post? Glowing. Go Emily! You're a star! She's gonna be famous, just wait. Love that you support your kids so much. Oh, do you? Because your son opened a business last week and all he got was a lowercase. Nice. No cake. No family toast. No surprise dinner with candles. Just static silence, and then a party for someone who posted a 5-second video of applying lip gloss to Taylor Swift songs. I didn't even know she was trying to be an influencer. Last I checked, she was still living at home and working at a boutique that sells overpriced sunglasses to yoga moms. And then it hit me. Of course they threw her a party. Emily was always their success story, even when she wasn't actually successful. They'd celebrate her for breathing. I could build a tech empire and they'd still say, "That's cute. Emily just painted her nails live on Instagram." But nothing could have prepared me for what came next. It was Friday afternoon. I was fixing a bug on a back-end project, sipping coffee that tasted like burnt cardboard, when my phone rang. Number unknown. I answered, half expecting a scammer trying to sell me solar panels. "Hi, is this Nathan Wilson?" "Speaking." "Hi Nathan, this is Cheryl calling from Westbridge Lending. We're following up to confirm the upcoming payment for the mortgage at 214 Grafton Lane. We noticed the last 2 payments were made through your account and just wanted to confirm if you'd be continuing coverage this month?" Pause. I didn't answer right away. My brain had to buffer. "I'm sorry, what?" She repeated it. Slowly. Like I was the confused one. I rubbed my eyes. "That account shouldn't be in my name. I was just helping out once. Temporarily." "Oh, I see. According to our records, you've made regular payments for over 2 years. And there it was. The invisible noose I'd tied around my own neck. It started innocent, one call from my dad during a rough patch, asking if I could help cover a missed mortgage payment. I'd just landed a big freelance contract and had some buffer. I said yes. They were my parents. I told them to just pay me back when they could. They never did. Then came month 2. Then 3. Soon, they stopped asking altogether. It became silent. Quietly expected. Like brushing your teeth or taking out the trash. Just one more task I did to keep the roof over their heads while they sent me "Happy Birthday" texts with no punctuation and tagged Emily in spa selfies. And now, the bank was calling me. Like I was the responsible party. Like I had legally tied myself to their house. Like it was my burden now. I ended the call politely, because Cheryl wasn't the enemy. But when I hung up, I just sat there. Office lights dim. Cursor blinking. I thought about the endless nights I'd worked through food poisoning to meet deadlines. The client who paid me in gift cards because he ran out of cash. The cold winters in my first apartment when I couldn't afford heating and just worked under blankets. All that effort, and the first people to benefit were the ones who never believed I'd make it in the first place. And when I finally did? Nice. That was their reaction. Emily got cake and balloons for tapping her phone. I got a call from a mortgage lender asking if I'd continue being the ghost owner for my own erasure. I stood up. Walked across the room. Looked at the office door again. Nathan Wilson, founder. I didn't build all this to be their silent investor. I didn't survive on 3 hours of sleep and vending machine burritos just to become the back pocket piggy bank for people who wouldn't even repost my win. So I opened my laptop. Pulled up every record of the payments. And started planning. No yelling. No fights. No dramatic family showdown. Just clarity. I wasn't angry. Okay, maybe a little. But it wasn't rage, not the yelling, table-flipping kind. This was the quiet kind. The dangerous kind. The kind where you sit still and do math. That Friday night, I opened a fresh spreadsheet. Blank. Cold. Honest. Then I started pulling records. Bank transfers. Zelle receipts. Checks I'd written that my dad never cashed until the last day before they'd bounce. Even one pathetic Venmo payment labeled, for groceries, that I now distinctly remember being followed by a spa weekend my mom posted on Facebook. Line by line, I typed in every date, every amount. I didn't skip a single cent. 2 hours in, I leaned back and stared at the total. $41,850. 76. $41,850.76. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny, but because if I didn't laugh, I'd probably throw my chair through the window. They always said I was too serious. That I held on to things. Yeah, I held on to bills. I held on to them. While they were playing Emily the Micro-Influencer, with golden filters and avocado toast, I was funding their lifestyle like a background character they forgot to credit. And the worst part? I never even got a thank you. Not one. Just subtle expectations. Like I was an automatic deposit labeled, Nathan, the financial safety net. I kept scrolling. One line hit different. March 14th, $1,200. Overdue electric plus mortgage top-up. I remember that one. Emily's birthday week. They had a backyard dinner with fairy lights and a live guitarist. She got an Apple Watch. That same week, I skipped groceries and ate leftover pasta for 4 nights so I wouldn't miss the payment. And still, just nice, on my office photo. I opened a second sheet. Labeled it Expenses to Recover. I started moving the biggest ones over. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do yet. But I knew this, they were going to know. They were going to feel it. I wasn't going to beg for validation anymore, but they were going to see what it cost to ignore me. But before any of that, I needed clarity. Proof. Ammunition. I dug through emails, found the original mortgage documents my dad sent. Just in case you need context. That context email came with a full PDF of the payment schedule, past due notices, and even a sob story he probably meant to forward to a loan officer, but accidentally sent me. Subject line: We're desperate, son might help. Cute. I copied that too. Then I remembered something. At some point during that first year, I helped them refinance. I was the one who fixed my dad's credit score by co-signing for a temporary consolidation loan, something he swore was just paperwork. At the time, I was barely building credit, helping him drop my score by nearly 70 points. I added that to the sheet. I felt like a detective building a case against people I loved. Which was, I guess, exactly what I was doing. By midnight, the spreadsheet had tabs. Tab 1, Payments Made. Tab 2, Collateral Impact, Credit, Taxes, Missed Opportunities. Tab 3, Emotional Debt, sarcastically titled, but very real. Under that last one, I wrote things like: Missed graduation, they went to Emily's brunch instead. No call on first business contract signed. Gave Emily my old laptop, Mom said she needs it more. That wasn't a spreadsheet anymore. That was a journal. A timeline. A quiet scream in Excel format. And when I closed it, I didn't feel sad. I felt calm. They treated my success like a background noise. Now they'd get silence, and consequences. Not a dramatic confrontation. No angry texts. Just a slow, surgical extraction. One they wouldn't see coming. I didn't go full nuclear. Not yet. That'd be too easy, too loud. I wanted something they couldn't scream at. Something they couldn't guilt trip, twist, or group chat about. I wanted them to wonder. To sit around their overpriced dining table, sipping filtered water, asking each other, did something happen? So I started small. The internet. I logged into the Comcast account I'd stupidly created for them 2 years ago when their credit was too low to open their own. At the time, my dad had said, "It's just Wi-Fi. You don't even live here, you won't notice it." And like an idiot, I agreed. Because back then, I was still trying to be the bigger person. Well, the bigger person logged in. Click. Click. Suspend service. No email. No heads up. Just black screen buffering on every device in the Wilson household. I knew how this would go. First, they'd blame the router. Then Emily would wail about not being able to upload her "Get ready with me" video. Then my mom would restart the modem 6 times and call Comcast, only to find out whose name was actually on the account. Mine! By the next morning, I had 5 missed calls from my dad and 1 from my mom. Her voicemail was just 5 seconds of static and then a dramatic sigh. No one said my name. No one asked if I was okay. They just assumed something was wrong with the provider. Classic. I ignored it. Got coffee. Went to work. Started phase 2. That night, I logged into the home insurance portal. Guess who was the emergency contact on the policy? Bingo. I didn't cancel anything. I just removed myself. You want to treat me like the invisible guy who magically pays for things? Then you get to be surprised when the magic stops. But I wasn't all rage. I was still sorting through the emotions. Because under the sarcasm and spreadsheets was a tired kid, the one who used to hang his test scores on the fridge with magnets and watch his mom take them down to make space for Emily's finger paintings. That version of me wasn't angry. He was disappointed. It wasn't about the money. I could have given them more, honestly. It was about the principle. About being treated like a wallet with legs while Emily got serenaded for hitting 502 followers. And right when I thought I had a grip on the situation, I got a text from her. Emily. Hey, not to be annoying, but Wi-Fi's down and Dad says you set it up? Can you fix? Please, sparkling heart. No. Hi. No. Hope you're good. Just bubblegum entitlement. I stared at that message for a long time. I could have replied with a fake excuse. Or blamed Comcast. Or said something clever. But instead, I just sent a screenshot of her last Instagram story, the one where she was showing off a new designer purse with the caption, "Girl math, it's not expensive if it's cute nail polish medium light skin tone." And below that screenshot I typed, "Girl, math this Wi-Fi then." No reply. Later that night, I posted a story of my own, just a photo of my office, late at night, lights on, laptop open. Caption: Self-made isn't as cute, but it's stable. Didn't tag anyone. But I knew they'd see it. My mom viewed it within 4 minutes. No comment this time. Not even a lowercase. Nice. Just silence. And that said more than words ever could. I gave it 1 week. 1 full week of no internet, no text replies, no emotional maintenance work from me. The house didn't collapse, but the group chat sure did. Emily sent a follow-up message the next day. Kinda rude to ignore me, tbh. I'm your sister? I didn't answer. My dad sent a passive-aggressive message 2 hours later. Would have appreciated a heads up about the internet. But if this is how you want to act, fine. Fine. It was always fine when I was suffering quietly. When I was cleaning up after them with a forced smile and a debit card. The second I put it down, suddenly I was dramatic. I let the silence marinate. And in that silence, I did one more thing. I opened my banking app. Found the automatic mortgage transfer I'd been too lazy to cancel. The one that silently left my account on the 2nd of every month like a polite little ghost. Click. Cancel. That was the real move. The quiet detonation. I sat back in my chair and looked around my office, the desk, the hardware I'd paid for out of pocket, the stacked notepads I bought instead of new shoes. All of it built on years of effort they never saw. This wasn't revenge. This was closure, with a credit trail. The next 48 hours were quiet. And then came the storm. It started with a text from my mom. Did the mortgage payment not go through? No. How are you? No. Can we talk? Just immediate suspicion, like the faucet stopped running and she needed the plumber. I didn't reply. The next day, the calls started. Dad. Mom. Then Emily. Then Emily again. And again. By day 3, I had 17 missed calls, 3 voicemails, and 1 guilt-trippy message that almost made me laugh. Mom. You know we've supported you too, right? We've always done what we could. Oh? Was that before or after you gave Emily my laptop and told me to be generous? Or when you told me you're used to doing without, while funding her $300 skincare hauls? I scrolled back to one of my favorite old texts. 2 years ago. Dad. You're not obligated, son. We just appreciate the help. I screenshotted that and saved it in a folder called Receipts. Because guess what? I wasn't obligated. And I was finally acting like it. That night, I sat down and drafted an email to the mortgage company. Not angry. Not messy. Just clear. Subject: update regarding payments for 214 Grafton Lane. Hi Cheryl. Following our recent phone call, I wanted to clarify that I will no longer be contributing to the mortgage payments associated with the above property. Any payments made were out of goodwill, not obligation. Please remove my contact details from future correspondence. Best. Nathan Wilson. I read it twice. Then hit send. And for the first time in years I felt free. Not just from the payments, but from the performance. The endless loop of be useful, be quiet, don't rock the boat. I wasn't rocking the boat. I was getting off it entirely. And of course, they noticed. That weekend, Emily posted a story of her holding a candle and looking sad with the caption, "Some people only care when they get attention. But family is family." Broke a heart. I didn't know if it was about me. I didn't care. I was too busy emailing my accountant about how to legally document the $40,000 I'd gifted to people who once forgot my birthday, twice in a row. And when I finally turned off my phone that night, I smiled. Because I knew the next knock on my door wasn't going to be about Wi-Fi. They didn't come right away. I thought they might. You'd think when you cut someone off from $40,000 of silent financial support, they'd be banging down your door with explanations, apologies, maybe even a sad little store-bought cake. But for a few days? Nothing. Just awkward Instagram stories. Some guilt-trippy memes Emily reposted like, "If you stop feeding the ones who starved for you, they'll act like you changed." I don't even know what that meant, but I'm pretty sure it was directed at me. Then, Saturday morning, knock on the office door. Not home. My office. I glanced at the security cam before answering, and nearly choked on my coffee. There stood Mom and Dad. Not even trying to hide it. Both dressed like they were going to brunch, except with the energy of two people rehearsing a fake smile in the parking lot. I let them in. Silence at first. Then Mom spoke like she was reading a script from a guilt-themed Hallmark movie. "We were in the area." "Right. My office is 45 minutes from their house and nestled between two auto shops and a ramen place that gives food poisoning if you breathe wrong." "Sure, just passing through." Dad cleared his throat. "Figured we should talk. Face to face." I didn't say a word. I just sat behind my desk and waited. Mom fidgeted with her purse. "We've been going through a lot." I raised one eyebrow. Dad jumped in. "Your sister's been stressed. She's still trying to grow her platform. And this whole mortgage thing just hit at a bad time." "Ah, yes. The mortgage thing. As if I accidentally dropped a pizza instead of pulling 40 grand out of circulation." Then Mom added in that voice parents use when they pretend they're being gentle, "Do you think you might reconsider helping, just a little, until we get things stabilized?" I leaned forward. Calm. Not cruel, just done. "Mom. Dad. You didn't even say congratulations when I opened this place." Mom blinked. "We commented." "Nice," I said. "That's what you wrote." One word. Like I posted a sandwich. They both shifted. I wasn't angry. I wasn't trying to guilt them. But I needed them to hear it. For years I gave everything I had, time, money, patience, and got crumbs back. Not even crumbs. I got silence. You'd show up for Emily's brunches and yoga launches and 500 followers celebrations, but you never once called when I pulled an all-nighter to land a client. Dad muttered, "It's not that we don't care. But you didn't act like it." That landed. Mom sat down, quietly now. "We didn't realize how much you were doing," she said softly. "That's the point," I said. "You didn't care to realize." There was a long pause. Then Dad tried the last card in his old, worn-out deck. "We're still family." I nodded. "You are. And family takes care of each other, right?" They looked hopeful. So I stood up, walked to a file cabinet, pulled out a printed copy of the spreadsheet. Payments made, $41,850. 76. Emotional debt, incalculable. I slid it across the desk. No drama. No revenge. Just facts. I'm not angry, but I'm not paying anymore. And unless you plan to start treating me like more than a backup plan, this isn't a relationship. It's a transaction. One that's closed. Dad's jaw clenched. Mom reached for the spreadsheet, but I stopped her. That's my copy. Yours is in your email. They stood up. Didn't yell. Didn't cry. But the air changed. They left like people who walked into a room expecting a faucet to work and found the pipes torn out. And for the first time since I was a teenager, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. It had been quiet for a week. Which, in my family, is a bad sign. Silence usually meant they were either scheming, or something had gone terribly wrong and they were trying to cover it with scented candles and fake optimism. So when I got a text from Emily, of all people, that just said, "Dad's freaking. You around?" I knew something cracked. I didn't reply. Just sipped my overpriced coffee and waited. Because if he was freaking, it had to be serious. 2 hours later, the call came in. Not from him, from a number I didn't recognize. "Hi, this is Jennifer from Wellsbury Mortgage. Is this Nathan Wilson?" Oh no. Not this again. "Yes. We're calling as a courtesy. We've attempted to reach Mr. Alan Wilson, but haven't received a response. His name is primary on the account, but we show your payment history from the past 26 months. Since payments have now lapsed, and he's unreachable, we're notifying all recent contributors." Lapsed? Lapsed? I blinked. How many payments? 2. February and March. 2 months. That meant they hadn't paid a single dollar since I canceled my transfer. The moment I stopped, the whole house started sinking. "Got it," I said. "Just for the record, I'm not involved anymore. You'll want to talk to him directly." I hung up. And for the first time in months, I actually smiled before noon. They hadn't told him. Emily. Mom. None of them told my dad I'd cut the cord. They let him believe I was still the fallback plan, still the monthly mystery money. So when the notices started showing up, he thought the bank was wrong. And now he was in default. Sure enough, that evening I got a call from my dad. "No, hello. Did you seriously just stop paying without saying anything?" I leaned back in my chair. Calm. Collected. "I told the mortgage company." "You didn't tell me." "No," I said. "Because for the past 2 years, you didn't treat me like someone worth communicating with, just someone you could invoice emotionally." Silence. "You could have warned us." I let that hang. "So you could guilt me into 1 more month? Hope I'd cave again because Emily's sad and Mom's trying to manifest a better year?" He didn't answer. And I didn't need him to. I was done explaining basic respect to grown adults who only remembered my number when a bill showed up. Then came the kicker. 3 days later, I got a LinkedIn notification. "Alan Wilson viewed your profile." I almost choked. Then, like bad clockwork, I got a follow-up text from Mom. "We're trying to refinance, but your name is still tied to the credit file. Can we use you one more time just to co-sign the papers? We promise this is the last time." That word again. Promise. Same word Dad used when he said I wouldn't be on the hook long. Same word Mom used when she borrowed my emergency savings to pay for Emily's dental work. Same word Emily used when she said she'd return the laptop I gave her after graduation. Still waiting. I didn't reply to the text. But I did update my profile photo, just for fun. A new shot of me at my desk, clean suit, fresh cut, the sign behind me just barely readable. Nathan Wilson, CEO. A few hours later, Emily messaged me again. "Can you just sign one thing? You're being petty. This affects all of us." And that was the moment I knew they finally got it. That I wasn't a thing to sign. I was the person who stopped the collapse once. And now I was the one letting it fall. 3 weeks after the default notice, the family group chat lit up like Christmas. I hadn't opened it in over a year, but I still saw the previews. Blurred messages from Emily, Mom, Dad, panic typing through their shame. You knew, didn't you? Why would you let it go this far? We trusted you. I didn't reply. Instead, I went to a ribbon cutting. No, really, a literal one. Office number 2. Bigger. Cleaner. In a city where no one knew my family's last name. A place I paid for myself, every desk, every cable, every late-night pizza I didn't expense. The press came. A local business blog tagged me in their write-up. I wasn't planning to post about it, but then I saw the photo. Me, standing in front of the sign. Nathan Wilson, CEO. Fully self-funded. Fully independent. And in that moment, I remembered something I hadn't thought about in years. The first time I signed anything for them. It was a rainy Tuesday. I was still living in a studio apartment above a tire shop, working 12-hour days and sending whatever was left over to my parents, because we're still trying to get ahead. I was 23. Dad called and said, "We need your name on this, just temporarily. You won't even feel it." I hesitated. He laughed. "Don't be dramatic. Your family. That's what we do." So I went. I signed. And I remember walking out of the bank with the weirdest feeling, like I just volunteered to carry a couch, but no one else had their hands on it. That's what this whole decade had felt like. Me carrying the couch. Alone. Until I dropped it. Now they wanted to lift it again, just enough to shove it back onto my shoulders. Sure enough, that night I got a text from Mom. "We're trying to refinance. They said your name still helps. Just sign, please." No drama. That phrase again. No drama. Funny how the people who caused the chaos always begged for quiet. I didn't reply. Instead, I turned off my phone and went out for dinner with my team. I paid for everyone, appetizers, drinks, dessert, and when the check came, I covered it without blinking. Not because I had something to prove, but because I finally knew what it felt like to give out of choice, not guilt. As we left the restaurant, I spotted something strange across the street. My parents. Standing under a dim awning, talking to someone in a suit. Dad looked agitated. Mom looked tired. I don't know if they saw me. I didn't wave. But as I turned to walk away, I heard Mom say, "He used to help. I don't know what happened." And I smiled. Because I knew exactly what happened. I stopped being the silent sponsor. I stopped being the family's emotional ATM. I stopped giving my everything to people who only gave me a nice. That night, I finally left the family group chat. No announcement. No parting words. Just gone. Like how I used to leave the table after washing the dishes I never ate off of. Like how I left the house every morning after doing more than anyone noticed. Like how I left them, long before the money ever did. I wasn't bitter. I was finally whole. And the next time someone says, "Do you still talk to your family?" I'll just shrug and say, "We used to share a mortgage. That's all."